Yeah, kids. All right, we just gave you some great tips on how to keep your body healthy and looking good. Now we're going to focus on getting you beautiful on the inside. We're talking inside and out, right? Because whatever you're doing on the inside really reflects on the outside. So join us with her great wisdom and expertise is Dr. Donna Kashani. Thank you so much for coming by and making the time to make our viewers important and teach them. That's so important. And you got great advice because we've gone through this, and you sent me a list, and your top one is showing confidence inside and out. Talk about that.
So it really does begin with how you get yourself ready. How do you prepare yourself? You know, what is the first thought that you have when you wake up in the morning? Is it this dread of the day? Is it, which is another topic we'll talk about, is it appreciation? So when you wake up with, wow, I have so many things to be appreciative for and of, what are those things? Even if you need to just remind yourself of that, then once you go to get ready, prepare yourself in a way, even if people don't even see what you're doing to prepare. If you feel good, preparing yourself to walk out that door, being your best self, and walking out connecting with other human beings. And I think that kind of human connection really allows people to feel important. If you're at an event and somebody's talking to you, instead of constantly looking away, checking your time or your phone, really connect with the person that you're with.
I know, you got to remind yourself sometime. You could be like really stressed out or busy, but you've got to be present. Right?
Yes, exactly. Because otherwise then it shows not only a level of distraction, but is this person even really kind of confident about who they are and what they're all about? Are they too busy looking at who is a better person that they could hang out with? That's even good advice for teenagers at parties, because if you can really teach them the art of engaging with a person or an event at the time that they're there and doing everything in the moment, it helps you kind of compartmentalize your life out in a way that is much more manageable than all the flying thoughts of all the things you have to do or shouldn't have done or need to be doing.
And it's disrespectful. You're telling people, I don't respect you enough to pay attention to you.
Right, so if you've ever spoken to someone, really think about what feeling do you get, and I hate to sound so psychiatrist-y, but think about that feeling. And when you're with someone, do they make you anxious? When you're with them, do they make you feel like you're the only person on the face of the planet? And how important is that when you've had a communication with someone who's really connected and made you feel like they listened to you, they participated, and then you feel more confident.
And they receive you, and there's no better feeling. That's awesome.
Correct.
All right, focus on what you have, not what you don't.
Right, so in the incredibly competitive environment that we live in, so many people are looking at, oh, well, the so-and-sos went here on a vacation, or they have this car and we don't, or I want to live in a bigger house. So instead of focusing on what it is that they should be appreciative for in their lives, always makes your brain feel uncomfortable. And then that will come across as a level of lack of confidence as an adult. It makes you look like an unhappier person. So we're talking about how to be beautiful on the inside and out. It makes that person look unhappier or less happy on the outside.
And if you're looking that way, you're probably feeling that way, right? And it's like start changing your thought patterns. And then all of a sudden the rest of the body will follow.
Right, and so this is, I don't know if you've heard the term out there, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. This is the cognitive part. This is the restructuring your mind to think a certain way. And newer studies show that we can actually shift the synaptic connections in the brain to think differently if we have these positive thoughts.
And it's just taking control of your brain and your thought pattern. Mind over matter it.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that it's so positive. And you see people change their lives around if they can do this very thing.
Yes, exactly.
It's
so
awesome.
Gratitude is, I think, a critical part. And that goes with your children, with your partner. If you're an employer, with your employees, reminding them what they're doing right rather than redirecting them always when they're doing something wrong. If you're at a restaurant and you have great service, call the manager over and say, I just wanted to tell you what great service I had. Whatever it is, connect with society and the world around you in a more positive, constructive
You know what I
manner.
noticed, whether it's employees or your children, you could sit there and say all day long, oh, great job, you did, oh, I like that, great job. And the moment you say, oh, that doesn't work, or we need to work on that, it's like all that get good went washed away. And the one criticism or the one thing that you would like them to change is not working gets magnified.
Well, because everybody in society is sensitive to rejection.
Yeah.
It's a pervasive issue. So that's perceived as rejection by a parent. And by the way, with adolescents, you have to interact a little differently because adolescents don't accept that direct contact as readily. Oh my gosh, you did a great job, or that was a terrible choice. Why did you do that? They get kind of bristly when they hear that. They would much rather.
So do grown adults. Believe me, I deal with it.
Yes, no, they can, and it depends. Once I read in a book about liken it to a bank account. Every positive thing you say is something, basically money you're depositing in the account, and every negative thing you say is a withdrawal. And if you have more withdrawals, then you're going into cash reserve credit.
But I almost feel like you have to give 100% more deposit to take out but $100 of deposit of positive stuff to take out $1 of negative, because that's how magnified it gets.
That's a big tax.
Oh, it is. It's like, sometimes it's a lot of work, right? Okay, smile and spend time with happy people. Birds of a feather flock together.
Well, if you can, that would be great, because actually a lot of times opposites attract. So people will say, oh, I've got this one friend who's always in a bad mood. We all spend our time trying to cheer her up. Or,
that's high maintenance. Jeez Louise, that's too much drama.
Right, well, exactly. But the point is, first of all, our baseline level of happiness is inherent. You're born with it. So people even say, you have more than one baby. They'll say, oh, my baby, one was really colicky and uncomfortable, and the other one was just always smiling and had pneumonia and never fussed. And so the baseline level of happiness is inherent. They've done all the studies on whether money can increase or decrease levels of happiness. Those people who won the lottery with massive amounts of money always go back to their baseline level of happiness.
That is so weird. That's a whole nother segment we got to talk about.
Correct.
That is,
and again, when it comes to finances, it's up into the point, when you're living in poverty and when you're living in excess, money does nothing for you. But when it's in the middle range is actually when people are the happiest.
I've heard that.
So, but then on top of that, so our baseline level of happiness is just there 80%. But for every happy person you spend time with, it increases your own level of happiness by 7%. So if you're hanging out with 2 or 3 happy people and you're already a really happy individual, you're just going to be basically almost happy all the time.
I got to tell you, I get to a point if I'm around negative Nellies and people who love drama and negative and hide behind excuses, it gets so wearing on me that I can't take it. I want to shake it. I flock to positive people with good energy. Correct. I can't get enough of them. I call them, those kind of people, I call them like Prozac. They're my Prozac. Because you have fun with them in a box. It doesn't even matter where you are. Their energy is so good. It's a gift to everyone around it.
Yes, People Prozac is a wonderful medication to take if you have it around you. I think it's great.
Okay, thank you. We're going to take a quick break right now, but stay tuned because Dr. Kashani has more great tips on how we can really have a very beautiful life from the inside out. You want to be the best you can be, right? Why not? We'll be right back.